we are part of a community. The moment we step into we start a blog, we start a Twitter account, we start a Facebook account, we're already part of a community. Whether that's just a community of your friends and family, or a wider community of people that work in the same field as you are working in, it doesn't matter. It's just huge communities that we are all part of. And for me, I'll be sharing with you the top 5 favorite ideas that I've had in terms of building communities. Just to, as Leo's already given you a background of what, I guess, experiences I've had in work, I guess I'll do a bit more concise version of my community experiences in terms of what I've done. First, I guess I started off doing my own stuff, doing my own website, doing my own blog, and I started doing, I guess, community already through my websites, using newsletters and forums. I started off having a GeoCities site. I don't know if any of you remember GeoCities, but that's where I actually started, and started using free servers and things like that, and that's how I began my life online when it comes to community, and I was hooked from the start. And from there, I started working for different content companies, which also eventually led to communities. Like I've written for About.com, which is a New York Times company, and I've worked for them. I started a language arts group there, so I've got a kids community to start with, and then in 2004 I returned with them, being their first weblogs expert or weblogs guide. So I basically started one of the first blogging communities online through About.com, and that's how I got met people like I guess Darren Rouse and Jeremy Wright and all that. And from there I actually, because at the time I was thinking about blogging, and really no one else really knew about blogging, and it was very tech dominated. It was all about technology and gadgets and all that kind of stuff, and because I've got an interest in arts and crafts and all that kind of thing, I said, oh, the women's interests and all these kind of things are not being represented in terms of blogging. So I decided to start my own blogging network, and that's how I started my own blogging network called About Weblogs in 2005, I think it was. And I think that's when I had about 20 bloggers under About Weblogs, and we grew. And at the time, towards the end of it, I got a job, and I said, oh, I'm not quite sure whether I can manage this on my own. And I set out feelers in terms of maybe collaborating with other people, and that's how I ended up working with Jeremy Wright, Darren Rouse, and at the time Duncan Riley as well was part of it. And we co-founded a network, B5 Media, and that probably started. And from there, we gained VC funding from Toronto. We were based in Toronto, and got a couple of $1 million funding from them. That community grew into about 300 bloggers. We had 300 bloggers in our network, and my job at the time was making these 300 bloggers happy, which is not an easy feat, because you can imagine there'll be different personalities and different expectations from all that. And from there, I left B5 about 2 years ago, different circumstances, and at the time I was burnt out. I was completely burnt out, didn't want to do anything online, and I was just decided to do something completely different, and that's when I went to do a teaching degree, and I said I just want to do something else. But about four or 5 months ago, I came across Connecting Up Australia, and they had a job opening for an online content manager position, and that's how I applied for the job, and the job was too good to resist, and I accepted, and I started there about 3 months ago. And this time, Connecting Up Australia is basically a non-profit organization that we have a lot of services and products, but I guess one of the biggest service that we offer is the Donor Tech program, which is a donations program that through TechSoup Global, we are partnered with TechSoup Global, offering donated and discounted products to nonprofit organizations. And some of our partners are Microsoft, Symantec, Cisco, Kaspersky, all these big tech people we've got, and we offer the donations in there. And we also run a conference, an annual conference. We're having one next year in Melbourne, Connecting Up conference. So there you go. I hope that's short enough. Now let's go through. So the first thing that I always do every time I start any kind of community, anything that I start, whether it's a blog, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, I always want to ask the question, what drives you? What is it that you want to get out of this thing? Because there's so many things out there. It's just this Twitter. How many people here use Twitter? Oh, it's happening. Everyone. That's good to know. I'd imagine everyone's on Facebook. I'd imagine, I'm not sure if most people would have Flickr.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone else got anything else that you think would be quite out there that no one else has used?
Second Life.
Second Life. Second Life.
Well, then, if you're going to say
Pluric. Pluric.
Yeah.
Oh, is Pluric still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Email match.com.
Email. Everyone blogs. Does everyone blog? Has everyone got a blog? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just, you see, there's so many things, and we can't possibly give everything we've got with every item that we've got on there. And I guess that's one thing I always want to know is whether, what is it that makes me want to go on there? What is it that I'm trying to get out of it? So for example, with Twitter, what are you trying to get out of it, Lee?
Twitter is a way of, for me, of connecting with my peers, but also of hopefully driving traffic to my main website to build business.
Fantastic. And is it the same thing that drives you to keep a Facebook account?
No, that's social. That's not business.
So Facebook is more
Friends and yeah, just friends.
friends. All right. Has got anyone else got a different opinion on that? Got everyone?
I use Facebook to drive business and it works.
You use Facebook to drive business as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it your Facebook personal account or a page? Page, yeah.
I use Facebook basically only to keep in touch with family.
Just to keep in touch. So
Because
no online contacts, no.
Very, very, because most of the people that I knew already, I knew before I started on Facebook. I was already connected with them via blogs or via Twitter and all that sort of stuff. Facebook, really the only reason I'm there is because I was able to. It's because my sister in England finally caught up with me. We've been out of touch for probably a decade.
Yeah.
So that's basically the reason of being on Facebook, and that's it. So,
Well, I'm pretty much the same, yes.
I was going to say, I use Facebook pages to segment my customers.
Oh, right.
So I have different businesses, so depending which page they're on, they're going to see different things.
Okay.
So it's, I guess because everyone else is using profile, it's different. But yeah, I find it really useful to segment my customers so that if people are interested in weddings, they're only going to get wedding stuff.
Right.
If they're interested in marketing, they're only going to get marketing stuff.
Okay.
And so forth.
Fair.
I've done the same sort of thing with Twitter and blogs,
Mhm.
so that there are 3 Twitter accounts, 2 of which are sort of company related, if you like, and 2 blogs which are company related, and then there's sort of more personal, so that's the one Twitter and blog.
And knowing what you want to get out of each of these accounts helps, isn't it? Because it's just, because for example, I guess for me, Facebook has never been like a numbers game. I mean, well, nothing really it's ever been a numbers game for me, but that's me. I love the numbers, of course. I love to see it climb. I love to see it going up like everyone else. But it's never been, I guess, a big driving factor for me. To me, it's more about, I guess, the quality of relationships I'm building through these avenues. So, but particularly in Facebook, with Twitter, I can add just about anyone I find interesting. So even if, I'll only talk to them once or twice a month or whatever, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I don't even ever talk to them. I just read their Twitter stream and things like that. But that's fine because it's just, for me, Twitter is more about, I guess, learning what I can get out of it and connecting with peers, as you say, and maybe driving traffic to businesses or pages or whatever. But it's not about sharing my deep, darkest secrets or whatever. So that's not what it's all about for me. And the same thing with Facebook. It's different. probably everyone that's on my Facebook account would be, I consider friends, family, people I actually want to see. And even if we've never seen each other before, I actually do want to see you. I actually do want to meet you in person. So that's to me is my Facebook account. So if you're not on there, sorry, because
I'll take offence. Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so basically, different things have got different. I've got a different thing because otherwise it'll drive us nuts. Because we can never catch up. We can never, bring it up to speed as much as we want to. Because there's always more that we can do. There's always more blog posts we can write. There's always more time we can spend on Twitter. I mean, I'd love to be able to talk more to more people on Twitter, but I just can't. So that's not. So that's why I guess, other than what do you want to get out of it, another important question to ask is, what are you willing to give to get what you want to get out of it? Because I know I'm not willing to do 2 hours, 3 hours on Twitter. I can't. I won't be able to do it. So that's not something I'll be able to do. And knowing that, I adjust my expectations based on what I know I am able to give. So the next thing is about, I guess, getting to know our communities. And to me, community makes up 3 most important things, I guess, would be the community manager, whoever is driving that community, the members, of course, and the tools that we're using. So, and each of those elements would actually have their own things that affect them. So managers will be, as we say, driven by whatever it is that they're interested in, they're passionate about, their experiences. Members, and as we saw with our little towers earlier, or big towers, that they have got different things that you can bring to the table when we do community. So, and it's the same thing with tools. I think one great, one story I'd like to share with you on this one is one thing that really stands out in my mind is when I discovered how to work Flickr as a community. Because before I discovered this, I just used Flickr as a photo sharing tool. That was it. I just upload photos and that was it. And I didn't really think of it as a community, although I know it was a social networking site as well. I never really understood how it worked. But in 2008, I came across the 365 challenge. Has anyone of you ever done the 365 challenge? Has anyone ever finished the 365 challenge? Good. I'm in good company. All right. In 2008, I actually started, I joined the 365 challenge. And so I started uploading photos there and joining some of the Flickr groups. And basically found out that some things that make it work is actually to be part of these communities, to be part of these groups, and get to know these groups and what do they want, what are they looking for, and participate, being engaged with the members of those groups. Because the reason I say that worked for me was because just between January 2008, I think, and May, when I was active on Flickr at the time for 365, maybe I have about 150 plus photos that I uploaded at the time, and about 40 plus of them were explored. I'm pretty sure you all know what explore means. So pretty much, and people were asking me how, because I don't consider my photos much better than a lot of the photos that were not explored. But I think what made it work to explore was because of my participation in the community. Because your community, when you participate, they end up supporting you. They end up leaving comments on your photos. They look forward to your photos. They star your photos. They add it to their groups. They give you awards and all that. Because that's actually the trick to getting explored. You get as many comments as you can. You get as many stars as you can. You get as many people visiting your photo as soon as possible. And those are some of the explored